Alright, so here's the Mark 7 faceplate. I'm going to start molding this. As you can see, I've done the cardboard work on it, so it's completely sealed up from the inside, and I'm going to be spraying silicone on the outside. So I've also done some small detail work here, just kind of in between, which is packed clay in between the cardboard and the actual master of the faceplate. So, but anyways, this should be done soon. So, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks. Okay, so here's the third layer of RTV silicone that I've applied to the faceplate. As you can see here, I've actually done an old contractor trick, which is saran wrap, basically to make it smoother, and also it doesn't drip. Basically, you can apply it to the top of this, and then basically flip it over on top of the other couple layers that you have of silicone on there already. So my guess is it should be done by about 4, considering it's got a catalyst and it's not just like a regular latex or house style silicone. It should cure okay. I'll have some of these lines in here and whatnot, but I'm really not too concerned about that. I'm more concerned about sitting here for about a half an hour, scraping the rubber, putting it back on top of the mold. So I haven't done it once at all. In fact, I placed the RTV silicone on the back of the saran wrap and then just laid it on top and then smoothed it out to the spots that I needed to. So, which keeps your hands clean and makes it look a little bit nicer as the mold goes. So we're going to give this a try. I'll pull this off probably tomorrow morning, maybe later on tonight, and then we'll see what happens with that. But this is something new I'm trying, which is the saran wrap on top of the RTV silicone, and I'm hoping that it cures. So alright, so this is after about 45 minutes. I mixed this batch a little hot because the previous 2 layers were actually the correct mixture, which is, I believe, 1 part to 10. So this is more like 2 to 10. So the last layer I put on was about a half pound of rubber, and it's gotten to the point now where it's cured, and I can actually kind of start pulling this away. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this and see what happens. You can see there it's nice and smooth. Let's see if I can block the sun a little bit here. So, and it's cured enough to where I can actually pull the saran wrap off the rubber. So, and I'll show you here in a second, because it should be, yeah, still a little bit soft, but the top layer is pretty much done. So it's touchable, but it's not tacky, but it's still wet underneath. So that looks like that's about it. Let's see. So you can see there, I'm just pulling the saran wrap away from the silicone. Considering this is the last layer, this is probably the best idea, because there's a film almost on the saran wrap that makes it pull away from food and whatnot. So okay, so as you can see there, I pretty much pulled most of it off of the rubber. This is really hard to do one-handed. Alright, there we go. So there we have it. It's still a little bit tacky, but I was able to pull that off there. The previous 2 layers have dried. I did them earlier this morning. So my next point would be to take the cardboard out and then lay fiberglass over the top of this, so then I have a mother mold to go on the outside of this. So it actually looks like I need to touch up some spots there, so which I'll have to do. So, but anyways, that's new technique, and it seemed to work out pretty well. Thanks, guys. All right, and here's the last part of the whole process of making molds and whatnot, and that is the casting process. Pulled all this out this morning. I've already pulled one cast already, and it looks pretty decent. But let me show you what I do as far as my molding processes goes here, or the casting process. As you can see, the faceplate is actually primered on the inside. Now it serves two purposes. Number one, when I pull the part out, it's pre-primered. I don't really have to respray paint it again. Well, you do for little touch-up stuff, but for the most part, it comes straight out of the mold, painted. The other reason why I do it, usually you use mold release, a silicone mold release on the inside of the mold when you're doing casts. That's just to make sure that the cast actually pulls from the thing without ripping or pulling too hard on it, and it increases the life of the mold. So as you can see here, I've got a black fiberglass gel. It's been tinted, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this right into the mold. Try and get it as many spots as I can here. Alright, that's good enough for now. Let's go and scrape this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand slush cast this basically. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the material and basically just rotate it around the mold until it becomes hard, or at least gelled, and at that point I'd let it sit. But as you can see here, basically I'm just rotating the fiberglass gel inside the mold. So after this, basically I'd lay up some fiberglass on the inside, and then about a layer or two, and then call it done. So but this is how I end up doing my castings, and hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit. Let's kind of see how I do this. So as you can see here, I'm basically slushing the material just to get an even and good coverage. Basically your gel coat doesn't have, or it does in some cases, but usually you don't get bubbles like you would just regular fiberglass, just because of the consistency of the gel. So, and I'm just trying to get all the small corners and even just a little bit overlap. So once I get good coverage, I usually kind of try and get it just to the edge of where the mold would be, which is just, it adds a little bit of flashing, stuff you have to trim off, but at least you get a good coverage all the way on your cast piece. So we just hand slush casting. So let the bottoms and corners fill up. Now, as you hand cast or slush this, basically you'll see spots where you can see here. I don't know if you can see that or not, where you can see the rubber come through. That'll happen. Basically, you want to continue slush casting this until all the parts, like you can see here as well, along where the eye is, will start doing the same thing. So basically, you just want to cover those as you're moving the material around inside the mold. It's a slow process, but gets the job done. Now, this same process would be used for, say, your resin, your polyurethane plastic resin. Except with that, you'd actually be doing it as one whole piece. I'll be using fiberglass after the gel coat here to continue making the piece. So whereas with your fast casting resin you'd just be using just the plastic. You can do fiberglass inside fast casting resin. In fact, I do that, but I've just found that fiberglass resin can be easier to use. It's a little more robust, and people say the plastic's more lightweight, but I can make a fiberglass piece that's just as light, and if not stronger than a cast resin piece. So the only problem is the smell of the fiberglass, and it's a little bit toxic, so just have to be careful not to get it on your hands, and use it in a well ventilated area with a respirator. So as you can see now, it's starting to kind of gel up a little more. It's taking a little longer for it to go through the mold, whereas when I first put it in, it was pretty quick. It would run around the thing pretty easily. Now it's getting a little slower. So I'm just going to make one more pass with this along the edges. And I know some of the angles on this are weird because you can't see them very well because I'm doing it from a top-down view and I'm turning the mold in certain places where you can't see it. So sorry about that if that's the case, but as you can see, basically I'm just trying to get the material to go where it needs to go. So I think at this point I've got good enough coverage to where I can let it rest. I usually like to get a little more resin right in the center there, right between the eyes, just because it seems like it's a weak spot, and it adds more rigidity there. So, but anyways, that's how we go from molding to casting. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. And as always, like and subscribe if this has helped you out. So here we are about an hour later. I've went ahead and pulled the faceplate out of the mold. So as you can see, it's painted. It's not black like you can see on the inside here. So basically, remove the mother mold section of it, and then pull out the rubber, and then pull off your cast. So I'll be doing this one probably in a battle damaged, I'm not sure yet, but I want to give a big shout out to my friend Chase Palmer, fellow Iron Man enthusiast. He was kind enough to be a venture capitalist in this project, and allowed me to do this faster than I normally would be able to. So, but anyways, so here's the mold, here's the cast, and that's pretty much about it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can see the back, it's got another coat of fiberglass on the inside of it. I laid in after the initial fiberglass thing, and I got to do some trimming along the edges and whatnot to make it more clean. So, alright guys, thanks a lot. Don't forget to subscribe or like this video if it helped.